Hey everyone, my name is Damien and I'm a pianist and composer. So today I'm going to be reacting to and analysing the track The Batman from the film The Batman, which was released a few months ago. The soundtrack was written by Michael Giacchino, who has written music for many other films, including Up, Ratatouille, Lightyear, Inside Out, and many other films. When Matt Reeves, the director of The Batman, asked Michael Giacchino to write the music for the film, he hadn't even cast Robert Pattinson as Batman for the film yet. Giacchino began writing the music for the film before it had even been created. His only point of reference for the music was scripts and his conversations with Matt Reeves. Alright, let's get started. Okay. A few different instruments being introduced. And it's kind of a rhythmic bass pattern or ostinato happening. It's a really beautiful cello arpeggio in the background, layered on top of some really nice strings. It's got a really kind of sentimental and soothing feel to it. Just a really slow tempo. I really like that. It's a really pretty start. There's a few things to talk about here. The overall kind of dynamics at the start of the piece. I was kind of expecting a lot more of a dramatic beginning to the piece. I think when music has that really gradual build over time, just really slowly building bit by bit, adding layers, adding different instruments and different sounds, and starting really soft and just growing in thickness and volume, it gives the piece a lot of time to grow, and you can kind of take your time with listening to the music. Start of the piece is kind of just like a bit of an intro section where we just have a few kind of different instruments sparkling their sounds here and there in different registers. So we start with like a really low bass kind of sound. When that cello is playing those legato arpeggios, it's just really smooth and even and really easy to listen to. It creates a nice background for the other strings that are going to be introduced as well. The start of the piece, it's a little bit tricky to find a strong beat because we have kind of different textures and different rhythms at the same time, but when we move into that cello part, kind of the A section, I guess, we're in 6/8, so we're feeling 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, now we're adding more instruments and layering to create a thicker texture. Okay, there's really big swells in the strings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2. There's that French horn playing the melody there. Brass in the background. Okay, I've got a woodwind instrument there. Really quite a beautiful piece to listen to so far. Giacchino is really using all the instruments of the orchestra there, especially the strings and the brass, and all their different registers to create a really full, rich sound, just with those really lush harmonies in the strings right down into the bass to around the middle register, and then you have that lovely French horn which has such a warm and kind of colourful sound. It's a really prominent instrument to use for melodies and orchestral writing. And also when you have like in the background that harp doing like the arpeggios, there's all these beautiful gestures in the music that create like a really nice atmosphere for the melody to be laid on top of. It's such a good use of dynamics in relation to the melody at the moment, because when the melody's going up higher into a more dramatic kind of tone and colour, we're going to like a forte dynamic or loud dynamic, and then we're going back down. It's kind of like if you're singing a song, you're breathing with the lyrics and you have to breathe in phrases. It sounds like we've got a piano, or maybe it's the harp there. Okay, we've really taken back the tempo at the moment. This part sounds like we've gone to a different section, so like the B section here. Okay, some really lovely harmonies here, just a okay, I really like where this is going at the moment. Okay, we have a really wide register and range of instruments at the moment. Okay, I think there's something going to happen here, but let's just talk about that first. So we're kind of tapering off, and it sounds like we're going to go into something a little bit more high energy, but I'm not sure yet. That last bit, we have like a really high drone on a violin, which is when we just sustain that note. It's a really, really nice effect when you have like a super high drone and then a really low, using the lowest notes with the piano and double basses right down in the register. In this part, it sounds like there's a lot more rubato in the playing, which is basically when you have a bit more freedom in the time. So before we're in 6/8 and it was very 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we've gone to a lot slower tempo, and we're also a bit more free in the time, and the music's just moving when it needs to. Okay, let's see what happens next then. Okay, it sounds like we're in 4/4 now. I've got like an ostinato in the bass. I really like how we're layering these instruments right from the bottom again, and with the dynamics too. Okay, we're still continuing that ostinato in the background, and everything's kind of being built on top of that. Okay, I really like where this is going. Okay, like the start of the piece, Giacchino's really stretching out this crescendo. It's really nice to hear a longer piece of music because it just has time to be able to stretch out and grow. It's quite an atmospheric kind of section here, rather than something like a typical kind of movie score, I guess. The time signature we have is 4/4 at the moment, although because we have the accents kind of on the offbeats in some points, Giacchino is using a really popular rhythm, which you've probably heard before. It goes 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and this is called the tresillo rhythm, and it's used in a lot of pop. But when you slow it down, kind of sounds quite different, I think. That's what that kind of foundational ostinato is using at the start of this little section at the end here. Okay, now let's see how this ends up. Okay, we're really starting to build in dynamics now. Okay, we're using really fortissimo dynamics now. Oh, that was really cool. Okay, that's since come back. Wow, that was really not what I expected for this piece, to be honest. That last bit I kind of thought would get to a point where we have a really melodic section, but it was really just building out that texture all the way to the end of the piece and then going back to that simple motif. With writing for the orchestra, it's a lot more complicated when you want to build up in dynamics, because it's not like everyone just starting soft and then gradually getting louder. You want to actually layer those instruments. So you basically have a few instruments layering a bit more, a bit more, a bit more. It's really intriguing how Giacchino uses that simple harmonic and rhythmic motif, and how far he goes with it, because sometimes when you're using just one idea, and if you use it for 2 minutes straight, it gets pretty boring. So it's using that layering technique and building up bit by bit and adding different colors to the orchestra really creates a much more interesting sound. It really just goes to show how versatile the orchestra is, because you can have those really beautiful pieces that have a really strong melody and really recognizable theme like Star Wars, and then you can go to the other end, starting with one idea and using that same idea for a whole section or a whole piece, and you're still creating such an interesting piece as well. I really hope that you got something out of the video today. I really enjoyed listening to the Batman and breaking it down. And let me know down in the comments below what your favourite track from the film was. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. See ya!